There are moments in history when the world shifts overnight, moments when everything we thought was stable suddenly collapses into silence. A massive blackout, darkness not just of the lights in our cities, but of the soul, of the heart, of a generation that has lost its way. And yet, listen to me, God always speaks in the darkness. He always calls out to the chosen, the few who will hear his voice when the noise is gone. Young man, you've been running from pain, running from rejection, running from the voice inside you that says you're meant for more. You've tried to numb it, with distractions, with women who don't see your soul, with scrolling and endless comparison. But now the lights are going out. The world will no longer drown out the sound of your calling. God is saying this blackout is not punishment, it is preparation. It is stripping away the noise, the lies, the fake lights, so you can finally see the only light that matters. The light he placed in you from the beginning. You are not forgotten, you are not abandoned, you are chosen. And when the darkness comes, it will not break you, it will reveal you. There is a reason God allows silence to fall. There's a reason he lets the blackout come, not because he wants to destroy you, but because he wants to wake you. See, we live in a world where there's always noise. Your phone buzzing, the constant notifications, the endless comparisons. Look at him, look at her, look at what you don't have. And the more noise there is, the harder it is to hear the voice of God. So sometimes the only way for you to really hear, the only way for you to finally see what matters, is for him to turn out the lights, to cut the power of the distractions, to force the silence. And I know that silence scares you. I know because it scared me too. When the room goes quiet, when the screen is dark, when there's nothing left to reach for but yourself, you feel it. That emptiness you've been avoiding, that ache you've been covering with distractions, with shallow relationships, with the false image of strength. But hear me, God isn't punishing you with that silence. He is preparing you. He's pulling away the false lights so you can see the only light that matters, the one he put inside of you. When the blackout comes, it feels like loss. You lose people, you lose comfort, you lose the things you thought were holding you up. But what if those things were never meant to hold you in the first place? What if they were actually keeping you from becoming the man you're meant to be? Sometimes God has to break your dependence on what's fake so you can discover what's real. And here's the truth. You don't find yourself when everything's easy. You don't find strength when the lights are bright and the music's playing. You find yourself in the silence. You find God in the blackout. You learn who you really are when you've got nothing left to lean on but him. That's why the silence is sacred. That's why the blackout is holy. So the next time you feel the world closing in, the noise shutting down, don't run. Don't panic, lean into it. Ask yourself, what is God showing me here? What is he stripping away that I don't need anymore? And what is he trying to awaken in me that I've been too distracted to notice? Because in the silence you will hear the truth, and the truth will set you free. There's something about fire that both destroys and purifies. When you walk through a season that feels like everything's burning down, it's easy to think God has abandoned you. But what if he hasn't left you at all? What if he's actually standing right there in the fire with you, like he was with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? The fire was real, the heat was real, the threat was real, but so was the presence of God, and because of that, the fire didn't consume them, it refined them. The truth is, most of us pray for strength, but then resist the very process that gives it to us. You don't get strong in comfort. You don't get endurance when everything goes your way. Strength is born in resistance. Endurance is born in pressure. Faith is born when you've got no proof other than God's word. So when you feel the fire closing in, don't just cry out for escape, cry out for transformation. Ask God not just to take you out of it, but to make you into the kind of man who can withstand it. Here's the thing most people don't want to admit. The reason some men never grow is because they avoid the fire. They numb out, they distract themselves, they run from the hard conversations, the heartbreak, the silence, the waiting. And because of that, they stay stuck. But you're different. You wouldn't even be listening right now if you weren't hungry for something more, if you weren't tired of being the man who hides in the shadows of his own potential. God's refining fire doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to burn away the things that can't stay. The fear, the shame, the lies you've told yourself. The man you thought you had to be. And when that burns away, what's left is something unshakable. What's left is gold. So, when the fire comes, and it will, don't see it as punishment, see it as preparation, because you can't step into the next chapter of your calling with the weight of the old chains still on you. The fire is what breaks them, the fire is what frees you, and the fire is what proves that you're stronger than you ever believed. There's a moment every man has to face where he realizes the battle isn't just out there. It's in here. Inside your own mind, inside your own heart. The greatest war you'll ever fight isn't against your boss, your failures, or even your enemies. It's against the voice inside you that says you're not enough, that whispers you'll never change, that convinces you to quit before you even begin. And let me tell you the truth, that voice is a liar. But here's the catch. It doesn't just disappear because you prayed once, or because you decided you want a better life. No, that voice will rise up every single day, especially when you're about to step into something greater. The closer you get to the breakthrough, the louder it gets. Why? Because the enemy knows if you ever wake up to who you really are, if you ever live out the strength God put in you, nothing will stop you. But here's the choice. You can keep feeding that voice or you can confront it. Every time you wake up and say, "No, I will not go back," you are fighting the war inside. Every time you choose discipline instead of distraction, faith instead of fear, prayer instead of panic, you are winning. And those little wins, they build, they compound, they turn you from the man who doubts himself into the man who commands himself. Don't wait for somebody else to silence the lies. It won't happen. Don't wait for perfect circumstances or for someone to rescue you. It's not coming. God has already equipped you with what you need. The authority to take back your mind, to silence the noise, to stand in the middle of chaos and still say, "I know who I am." And let me tell you something. When you win that war inside, it shows up outside. You walk differently. You carry yourself with a quiet strength people can feel. You stop chasing approval because you already know your worth. And suddenly, the same world that used to break you down has no power over you anymore. The war inside isn't easy, but it's the only battle worth fighting. Because once you master that, you're unstoppable. There comes a moment when every man has to look around and realize the world isn't what it used to be. We're living in a time of noise, chaos, and confusion. Every headline screams fear. Every feed drags your attention. Every voice tells you what to believe. And yet, in all of that noise, there is one voice that cuts through if you're willing to hear it. God's whisper. But here's the tragedy. Most men never slow down long enough to hear it. They're too busy chasing validation, chasing money, chasing distractions that keep them numb. But the truth is, distraction is the enemy of destiny. You cannot walk into the life you're called to live if you're constantly being pulled in 100 directions. And maybe you've felt it. You sit there late at night scrolling, trying to drown out the emptiness, but it doesn't work. You go out, chase another hookup, another high, another dopamine hit, but when the night ends, you're still empty. Why? Because nothing on the outside can fill the vacuum on the inside. That's why God says, "Be still and know that I am God." Stillness isn't weakness. It's strength. Stillness is where clarity is born. It's where you stop running and finally face the truth. You've been hiding. You've been pretending you're strong while you're breaking inside. And yet, in that moment of stillness, when you finally stop performing and start listening, something shifts. You realize God has been there all along, waiting for you to turn down the noise so you can hear him. And once you hear that voice, you'll never confuse it again. It doesn't sound like shame. It doesn't sound like doubt. It doesn't sound like condemnation. It sounds like love. It sounds like direction. It sounds like a father reminding his son of who he is. So here's the challenge. You want to change your life? Start by cutting out the noise. Stop giving your best energy to distractions that don't care if you live or die. Turn down the world long enough to hear the whisper, because once you do, the blackout around you doesn't matter anymore. You'll be lit from within. And no one can take that from you. There is something you need to hear right now. Your struggle is not proof that God has abandoned you. It is proof that He is preparing you. Every man who has ever been called to something greater has walked through the fire first. And maybe that's exactly where you are. You feel like everything is burning down around you. Relationships failed, finances shaky, your own sense of worth slipping through your hands. But I want you to understand this. The fire doesn't come to destroy you. The fire comes to refine you. Gold doesn't become pure without the flame. Steel doesn't become strong without the heat. And a man doesn't become who he's meant to be without being tested. You've been asking, why me? Why this season? Why this pain? But the better question is, what is God shaping in me through this? Because the truth is, you can't carry the blessing if you don't have the strength to hold it. And God is not about to place something powerful in weak hands. He's building you right now through the very thing you thought was breaking you. That's why you can't quit. That's why giving up is not an option. Because the enemy of your soul wants you to believe that struggle means defeat. But in reality, struggle means growth. Every rep in the gym tears down muscle so it can rebuild stronger. Every heartbreak cracks open the heart so it can love deeper. Every setback is a setup for the man you're becoming. So hear me. Don't curse the season you're in. Don't despise the process. Don't think that because it hurts, it's pointless. Pain is proof of progress, and right now you are being refined, reshaped, and recalibrated for something bigger than you can even imagine. One day you'll look back on this exact moment, the nights you thought you couldn't keep going, the mornings you didn't even want to get up, and you'll realize that was the season God was sharpening you for your calling. The fire doesn't mean you're finished. The fire means you're chosen. And if you can endure it, if you can trust through it, if you can keep walking even when the path is dark, you're going to step into something greater than you ever thought possible. There comes a point when God stops whispering and starts shaking. When He doesn't just nudge your heart, He rattles your entire life to get your attention. And maybe that's what this season is for you, a holy interruption. The blackout you feel around you isn't just the world getting darker. It's God making sure that you don't miss the light He's trying to ignite in you. Young men, you've been told to hustle harder, to chase status, to fill the emptiness with women, money, or distractions. But deep down you know the truth. None of that has satisfied you. Because you weren't built for surface level living. You were built for depth, for purpose, for the kind of strength that can stand when the world collapses. And this, right here, right now, is your wake-up call. The blackout is not just out there. It's in your soul every time you live without direction, without vision, without God at the center. But God does not announce a blackout to scare you. He announces it to prepare you, to say, the world may dim, but I have called you to burn brighter. This is urgent because your future depends on what you decide in the dark. Will you collapse under the weight of pressure, or will you rise and carry the fire God placed in you? Will you keep letting the noise of culture drown out His voice, or will you finally tune in and hear what He's been trying to tell you all along, that you are chosen, that you are needed, that this generation is starving for men who won't bend, won't fold, won't sell out? Hear me. You don't need to wait until everything is perfect to start living differently. The time is not tomorrow. The time is not one day. The time is now, right now, tonight. Because once the lights go out, it's too late to go looking for oil for your lamp. You either have it or you don't. So God is saying, be ready, stand strong, burn brighter. The blackout is here, but chosen men shine when others hide. That's who you are. That's who you're called to be. If this message stirred something inside you, don't just sit with it. Act on it, because moments like this are not accidents. You didn't stumble onto this video by chance. You were meant to hear this. You were meant to be reminded that God has chosen you for more than surviving. He's chosen you to lead, to shine, to carry the fire when the world grows dark. So, here's what I'm asking you. If you felt even a spark of truth tonight, don't let it die. Keep it alive. Drop a comment. Tell me what hit your heart the most. Share this with a brother, a friend, someone who you know is walking through their own darkness. Because you never know, your one share could be the lifeline someone else is crying out for. And subscribe, because this isn't just another channel. This is a movement, a community of men rising up in the middle of the blackout, refusing to live small, refusing to stay asleep. Every time you like, every time you share, every time you subscribe, you're not just supporting me. You're standing shoulder to shoulder with other men who are choosing the light over the dark. So let this be the night you decide no more drifting, no more hiding, no more waiting. Step up, shine, and never forget you were chosen.